Good morning, everyone. Okay, like I'm wiping off my glasses at the moment because they're very messy. So good morning. So I'm not gonna lie, it's been a rough one. We're so tired. So very tired. I actually put on this morning the little gel like collagen, like whatever it is under my eyes. I don't think it worked, but I tried. I tried for you, my friends. So good morning, everybody. It is Monday. What is the date? It is January 9th already. Like already it is past the first week in January and I don't even know where it went. How about you? Are you kind of aware of what's going on? Are you still kind of stuck in the post-holiday chaos? I am. For instance, behind me, we just quickly set that up this morning. Make sure I'm centered. Eric will get mad if I'm not centered. There we go. So like all of the Christmas stuff or the holiday decorations came down. But coming down doesn't always necessarily mean put away to where they're supposed to go. So our kitchen table is still covered with all of the things that still need to go in boxes. I've got several trees that are disassembled, like right there. I can see them from right here. And then all of the decorations and the decor stuff that went in the office and in our family room were still in some bins and I couldn't find them. So Eric brought them in this morning. So we did a quick little setup here behind me. It'll probably look different next week once I have a little bit more time and I find the rest of the bins. But how about you? Are you all like completely, everything is put away, you're back, you're ready to start 2023 with a clean house and an organized one, because that's always my goal. So good morning, everybody. I'm going to look real quick. I tried to say good morning to everyone. Tracy and obviously Eric. Pam. Pam says, hey, Eric, we're watching from Ohio. Good morning, Sydney and Jarrett. Yay. Jarrett. I say it wrong every time. Mrs. Florida Man. Love it. How are you guys doing? My Elizabeth. I'm excited. Elizabeth actually, her college semester has afternoon classes on Mondays now, so Elizabeth gets to join me, which is nice. And my Allie and Julia. By the way, Julia, the listing you gave us is going to be our Zillow home today. And then Lisa, Tammy. Good morning, Tammy. Got to see you over the weekend. Super exciting, and we've got some stuff to send to you today. Susie Q, everybody from New York. Susie, how is it in New York? Is it cold? Like freezing cold? Because I'm going to be there soonish. Well, the 18th, I think, is when I'm going to go. I don't know. But anyway, 10 days-ish. Anyway, so good morning, Rob. You are always here. You are our diehard friend. Tony, Kennard. Good morning, Kennard. Hopefully you had a good weekend. I know you said you were testing out some kind of a nanny or babysitter kind of a situation. Hopefully that worked out. Remember, I'm just saying I'm a free babysitter and I love babies. Jim, very exciting stuff coming up for you, my friend. Diz Deb. So everybody, if I didn't get you, you know I love you. So here's my mug of the day. I think this is a repeat. I don't know, but today felt kind of like a Pooh Bear kind of day. Like every once in a while when I just need to wake up and feel a little bit of calm and peace in my life, I automatically go for my Pooh Bear. So cheers to you, my friend. So we have lots to talk about, lots of exciting things happening. We're going to, I know I always start to talk about that. And then Eric reminds me that that's part of the What's Brewing. So I'll go to the What's Brewing a little bit sooner, but did just want to check in and see how everybody is doing. As a reminder, if you have questions, because I mean, part of this is not just me, talking the whole time, but answering any questions you might have, any updates that you might want. A lot of times I can't disclose everything via here, but if you're a client or you want to be my client, if you call and we connect, then there's some information I can provide to you. Lots of stuff going on, including our Sunday drive, a new house that came back on the market, like all sorts of fun, exciting things. So let's go into what's brewing, and then that's going to kind of lead its way into some of these other topics. Okay. So let's get going on that first. Okay, so first of all, in a minute, I'm going to have to push something and go wash my hands because they're very sticky. Because about 5 minutes before we went on, on live, I put together a very quick casserole for breakfast because this is my son's last day here, which is actually going to transition us into the What's Brewing. So I quickly put it together and I washed my hands, but I don't think I got it all. So sticky. Okay, so run, well, I say run, Forrest, run. He hates that. Our son Forrest is a runner, always has been, ran through high school, ran through college, has continued to run. And yesterday he did the Disney Marathon, and that is super exciting. Eric and I got to go. We woke up at 3 a.m., hence us still not really having had a really good night's sleep or able to catch up on it because the race was on Sunday. So Saturday night, thank you, dear. Saturday night, we went to bed and wiping off my hands. There's like, it was like cinnamon rolls. I was making this cinnamon roll casserole thing and like some of the cinnamon roll got on me. Okay, thank you. So we got up, so Saturday night, regular, Saturday night, went to bed kind of early because we knew we'd have to wake up early on Sunday morning. He was a bib number 55 and he was in, what do you call it? Like the corral? Is that what you call him, Eric? Yeah. So he was in the first corral. So he needed to make sure he was there. He had his spot. So we woke up at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. We left the house at 3:20. First of all, it's super exciting because it almost feels like the only people that are out on the road in this area at that time are all a part of this bigger magical moment, which is the marathon. And it really was spectacular. So let me send you a quick picture so you can see. So this is our son Forrest. Now we have lots more pictures. So this is the only one we put up. We didn't want to bore you. I mean, we're parents, so I could sit here and talk about him all day. But it was our first experience being actually at. I mean, we've been around when the races were going on. We've been some of those people that were inconvenienced with the traffic detours and road closings and things like that. But we've never actually, certainly I've never participated in a marathon. Eric and Forrest did a half marathon with a friend of theirs, I think, years ago, but I did not go. I was not a part of it. So I never really got to see kind of what it looks like to be a part of that magic. A friend of mine, Michelle, who works at Disney, oftentimes will post on Facebook about, it's race time, it's marathon time, and, showing kind of how organized they are. But I will tell you, it is so well done. First of all, you would never expect it to be anything other than perfectly organized. But it really, really was. It was so just seamless. But it kind of led us to another way of thinking, which is, just because you may not run like me, and you may not want to be a part of, the actual race itself, the ambiance was amazing. So Eric and I went, it was a little bit chaotic again, our first time, not figuring out where it is that we're supposed to go, but we go, it starts at Epcot. We got there, we walked him up. We went back to the car, gathered the rest of our stuff. We walked back up. We kind of hung around for a little bit trying to figure out if we were going to be able to see him start, if we were going to, how that was going to work. Because obviously, if it's a race, you don't know where you're going to get to see your runner pass by. But we were able, I say we, Eric figured it all out. He and Forrest got it all put together. So we essentially hung around Epcot for a little bit. And then we decided that, we're not going to be able to see him officially start. So we're going to go ahead, take the monorail, get over to the Magic Kingdom, line up on Main Street and wait for him to get there. And that's what we did. And it was so magical. So again, this picture is him, this is when he was actually coming out. They go through the magic or through the castle, but we were actually a little bit further down on Main Street. We actually parked ourselves out of Casey's Hot Dogs. And I will say, the shop there was open. They were serving the hot chocolate and it was just so cool. There were so many people, so many runners. So even if you don't, Eric and I actually talked about, if Forrest wasn't running, this is a great inside tip of something that you can do. It doesn't give you free admission to the park for the day or things like that, but you are in the park. Specifically for the marathon, and just kind of the whole feeling is so cool. You could be there to support them. You can stand there with your signs and just cheer everybody on. You can volunteer. Oh my gosh, the crazy number of volunteers. They're so well organized. So anyway, my thought is we're going to share that info for you or with you so that if you ever kind of felt like you wanted to find something else that was a bit unique, still related to Disney, still partaking in that magic, that perhaps, volunteering or finding out what you can do for these runs are fantastic. But I will tell you, our son had an incredible run. Now, you remember, there are some people who are more competitive with these and some that are totally doing them for fun. They're all dressed up, all crazy, cuckoo fun. They stop. There's characters all along the path. People stop. They get their pictures taken with them. It is a very cool, non-stressful event for many, many, many people, for most of them. For others who are a little bit more competitive, you know, in running, I remember the PR, right? The personal record, something that was always, you know, kind of top of mind when you are a runner. You're really just running against yourself and trying to better your own time. And Forrest ran all through college and high school. And so that term I was a little bit more familiar with. So for Forrest, it was a little bit more not competitive with other people, but it was a personal goal that he had to run the marathon, which is what, 26.2 miles in under 3 hours. That would qualify him for the Boston Marathon. Recently, he did a half marathon. That time qualified him for the New York Marathon, which he's going to run in November, I believe. And then this one, I am proud to say that our son ran the Disney Marathon in 2 hours and 51 minutes and 15 seconds, which more than qualifies him for the Boston Marathon. So good job, buddy. We are super proud. Yes, 13th overall, like 13th overall, not like for an age division or age group, but like the 13th human to pass, well, the 13th runner to pass. There are obviously some wheelchair participants that did it on a bike, and that's a different kind of a category. But at any rate, yeah, Forrest 13th overall. So super, super, super proud of him. Incredible splits. We were just so stinking proud of him, and he is feeling it. And I will tell you, nothing better than coming home to a home that has a working hot tub, my friends. So working hot tub, yay for the Kidwell family. And the pool that is complete, and the hot tub that was steaming and ready for him. But he leaves tomorrow, so hence the casserole I've got in the oven for breakfast. Okay, so moving on. Let's go to our next What's Brewing. So Kindred Spirit. And no, I'm not talking about the TV show, which, by the way, if you watch on the Travels channel, I believe the new season of Kindred Spirits is actually going to be starting soon. Rob, you might watch that. I'm not sure if you do or not, but I actually watched that show too. I watched kind of just a plethora of stuff. My taste in entertainment is kind of like goulash, where it's just a hodgepodge of stuff thrown together. So that's what my mom used to say. It was goulash, and that was, you know, we kind of threw lots of different things in to make a meal. Anyway, so but Kindred Spirit, in this sense, we are actually talking about a beautiful community out in Kissimmee. This is in Osceola County. This is a D.R. Horton community. Very, very, very similar in look and feel as Waterley is in the Horizon West area in Winter Garden. It is the same builder. So obviously you can see some of the similarities in how they choose to structure and build their communities. This was our Sunday drive yesterday. So if you did not get a chance to see it, you might want to go back, take a peek at it. The reason is the price point's obviously lower than it is in Horizon West in Winter Garden, although it's not like, you know, it's not like super, super, super low. It's a beautiful community. We have a client that just contracted in there. Their home should be complete in a few months. So we were out there checking on their house, sending them some video. And by the way, that's one of those examples of these particular clients are, I guess, an example of sometimes how our clients purchase homes, which is daunting for us because even though this particular client was in town, we did go out, we were searching and looking for things. We did not actually go to Kindred. It wasn't until after he had left, gone back home, that I was like, you know, I think there might be a great opportunity out here. So this is what we did for our client. They agreed it was a great spot. So they contracted. And so we were back out here again, checking on the home. So Kindred is a great community. They have lots of models. We have the models. All of them will be on the YouTube channel. If they haven't all posted yet, they will be soon. And again, you know, we'll talk more if you're interested in this community. We can talk a little bit about kind of the different series, an express series and things like that, and what that means with design options. But I will tell you, the community is beautiful. Not just one, not just two, but several amenity centers, much like Waterley. Beautiful entrance with those palm trees, much like Waterley, and lots of areas with conservation and ponds with fountains. It gives a beautiful community aesthetic, much like Waterley. So also very, very large like Waterley. So at any rate, this is a great community. And if you didn't get a chance to go back and take a look at our at the Sunday drive that we did yesterday, and we can talk a little bit about that community and some of the price points, some of the floor plans, and some of the opportunities there, because they are still growing. They've been there for a while, but they're also still growing with new with new phases opening up. So super excited about that. Okay, and now rental rates. Okay, and this is a really kind of a timely topic. We've referenced it before. I'm sure you guys watch the news. You know then that the that rental rates have increased quite a bit. Some ways ridiculously so. I've had lots of clients that are like, yeah, you would not believe how much our rent went up this next year. And not like just a normal cost of living increase or even just being a little bit greedy, but like being crazy greedy. And so on that note, Zillow did this study, and it actually is telling you kind of the rents increased sharp in 2021, but are relaxing slightly. This is telling you from 2017 to 2022. And it references cities like Miami, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. But what it didn't necessarily mention in that particular one is Orlando. So Orlando is actually number 9 in rent increases, which is 9.5%. So currently the average rent in Orlando is a little over $2,000 a month. Now, depending on where you live, you might go, really? That's it? Like, I got that in my pocket. That's not a problem. But for a lot of you are like, well, if I had $2,000 a month that I could pay to rent, I would buy something. And that is what we're talking about. So if you, and I have so many clients, and trust me, I understand the logic behind it, which is, if I'm moving and I'm moving to a place or a state that I'm not familiar with, I don't know what I want or where I want to be. I don't want to invest my entire life savings and make such a huge decision with limited knowledge and information. First of all, that's why you have a realtor, but I still understand it. And so they decide, you know what, we're going to move. We know we're moving. So I'm going to move and we're just going to rent first. We're going to rent for a year. And that way we can kind of feel it out, kind of explore a little bit, decide where we want to go, decide where we want to call home. And again, to completely understand that, that makes a lot of logical sense. It doesn't make a lot of financial sense. And that's kind of, we do what it is that our clients want to do. But if you happen to be one of those people that is considering renting because you're not sure of the area, well, first of all, make sure you have or will engage in a realtor that you trust, that is going to assist you through the process and give you those answers that you need. Now, remember, as realtors, ethically, we are not allowed to steer you to or from an area, location, a builder, a home, but we can be transparent. That's our job too, is to be transparent with you with what we know and to assist and guide you through that process. So that's really important. So if you feel like you've got the right person that is carrying you through this process, it shouldn't be quite as nerve-wracking to invest in potentially purchasing a home in lieu of renting one. That being said, there are a lot of people that still rent. And so this is the question I get. Do you help with rentals? And the answer is, yes, I can. Do I? Yes, I do. Is it the mainstream of my business? No. But if I have a client who is looking for a short-term rental, or recently I had a client who purchased a home that they were using as a rental property, as an investment property. And so as soon as we closed on it, I listed it for lease, and I happened to find the tenants and, helping them, and they're all set to go. Their lease actually starts tomorrow, right? The 10th. Yeah. So their lease starts tomorrow. So yes, I do. Yes, I can. Do you need a realtor? Well, candidly, when you're renting, it depends. If you are looking for a short-term rental, type of a place for you to rent for a few months or for a weekend, you don't really necessarily need a realtor because you're not looking to purchase it. You're just looking to rent it. And in those cases, I always suggest there's lots of places that you can look online, especially in this area. Now, again, this information, anytime I talk, it is about our experience here where we live, which is a very unique little nugget, right? If you're looking, thank you. If you're looking in other areas across the country, well, it may be a completely different conversation that you're having with a realtor, and we respect that, and that's important, right? So my information is more generalized and localized. So generalized to this area, localized specifically here. But in most cases, a realtor can send you, rental options that are listed on the MLS. We can send you those just like we can send you home options. You may need access to these properties. In which case, yes, you're going to need a realtor to assist you. If it is a short-term rental that you're looking for and you're like, I'm just going to go there, I'm going to rent for 6 months, you don't always need a realtor for things like that, because here, so much of our area here in Central Florida, in and around, nestled around all of the attractions and the parks, is going to, there are so many websites out there, because these are basically managed by property management companies. And those property management companies manage the property, and in many cases are going to be managing the showings and all of that information. So sometimes the realtor ends up being just a liaison between, here, I'm going to send you this listing, and then really my job at that point, unfortunately, is just to then go, well, here's the link that you need to access, because everything else is done through the property management company at this point. So yes, you can have a realtor assist you through the process. If you are looking to rent a home for a year, yeah, absolutely. You need a realtor to help you, because you want to be able to find a home that is not zoned short-term rental, most likely. And then you're going to need access to that property. A lot of realtors don't do rentals, despite the fact that I don't understand why, because in many cases, that person that you're helping rent is potentially a client who's going to purchase later. And so, from a business standpoint, yeah, you would want to help them find the home to rent, and then eventually hopefully find the home for them to purchase. But candidly, sometimes there's nothing in it for the realtor. And this is like true transparency. Sometimes it's very minimal to nothing as far as a financial gain for a realtor, like a referral fee. And that's okay. Okay. For the ethical realtors out there, that's okay, because our job is actually to help you. But that is why, my friends, including the clients that I just assisted in leasing the home that I had listed, they said they were so tired. They were calling realtors to help them find a rental, and nobody responded. And I did respond right away, and we got them in right away. So don't get mad. Just keep trying. Or call me. There are realtors that will assist through that process, but you just have to understand, some realtors just don't want to deal with rentals, because they understand that really they're going to hand you off to the property management company, and some people, they feel like it's not worth their time. Not the way I feel, but just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so now that being said, let's take a couple of quick questions, because I see my little chat thing just keeps going and going and going. So let me see if we've got any questions that you want me to. Oh, I did it again. I put it in the chat thing. Amy, wake up. More coffee. I swear. I'm too old for this technology. Jim, when's the pool party? You know what, Jim, for you, we will have an absolute huge pool party, because I know you guys are excited to finally get here. So Jim, everybody, is one of my clients. Been waiting so patiently. It has been a long journey, has it not been, my friend? Building a beautiful home, getting so close, moved out of the new home. And I guess, Jim, you're going to be here next week, I think, full time. Is that right? I don't know. I'll text you later and we'll find out. But yes, pool party is whenever you tell us. You give us the day and time, and you're in. Okay. And then Rob, what was your question? They ever get everything fixed and the pool screen up? Nope and nope. So we didn't actually, we opted to not bother them last week. So many, because Monday was New Year's Day, I guess, recognized like the actual holiday. So, schools weren't back in, government offices weren't back in, lots of companies were still closed. So we decided, you know what, we'll give them a week of last week, the first week of the new year, to see if they reached out to us, and they did not. But that is on our list today. I've got an entire list of phone calls I need to make, emails I need to send, both business related as well as home related. And that is one of them, which is when can we expect the screen? Because we have an entire screen. Okay, he wants me to push this.
I gave a little view from the pool this morning.
Okay, here's a view from the pool this morning. So yeah, we were actually in that hot tub last night. I believe Forrest is going to be going back in it here shortly. By the way, Eric, when that timer goes off, you just need to take the icing and drizzle it over. Okay. Take it out and then drizzle it. Yes. Anyway, sorry. Casserole. So Eric did a little video this morning. This is the pool zen, if you ever feel like you need some pool zen. But yeah, so Rob, that it really is a good question. So we did not We did not get the screen yet. We haven't heard anything about that. I need to call the pool company to find out if they would please call the screen people just to find out where we are. And then I need to call the lighting people because we're still waiting. They did all the exterior lighting. We did lighting up in the soffits, but you know what? That's a good topic one day. We did exterior lighting on the front of the home, LED lights in the soffits that, can change colors. So we had them change for, Christmas colors. But normally I like white. I'm a white light person. But we do have them doing the party lights on the lanai or on the screen, but we don't have the screen. So I need to make that phone call. We do have a couple of things scheduled. They have to fix a door in the pantry and some remaining little doodahs. They're supposed to come and finish painting. But at any rate, we're good. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Okay, so Marcia, whoops. Hey, Marcia. So good morning. What should we expect during the pre-drywall walkthrough? So this is really good. And so we are actually going to, we've so many people. It was so funny. Was it last week on the Sunday drive? Not yesterday, but the week before when we were at Silverleaf. I was talking a little bit about the pre-construction meeting, which is one of the touch points when it comes to building a new home from the builder's perspective. Like something that they schedule. And I always go through with my clients, it's like, the first thing is going to be that pre-construction meeting. That's when you're going to meet with the builder. It's kind of a confirmation meeting, making sure that, everything that they have permitted for, everything that you chose has now reflected into the paperwork and the blueprints and the plans that now sit on the builder's desk, right? Because there's a whole lot that happens between you picking and choosing and then everything going into the system and then picking the design center and then finally going through permitting and coming back out. The next touch point is what Marcia is referencing, which is the pre-drywall walkthrough. So much like the pre-construction meeting. So first of all, if you are local and you can be here for any of those touch points with the builder, it's important that you be there. It absolutely is important that you be there. I suggest that you be there. I encourage you to be there. Is it imperative that you be there? Is it like it's going to go wrong if you're not? No, because you can still do your pre-construction meeting virtually. There are ways that I can help you, ways that I do help you. Whether it's sitting with the builder and FaceTiming you or being on the other end of the phone call or meeting you there and we do it in person, however we do it. The other part of that though is the pre-drywall walkthrough. So pre-drywall is exactly what it's supposed to mean, right? Pre-drywall. Now, just like pre-construction, that is supposed to mean that they haven't started doing any construction yet. Well, I have noticed that lately pre-construction does not necessarily mean pre. That they may already be under construction. They're not very far along, of course, but they may have already poured the foundation and the footers, and they may be kind of well into that path. And so instead of calling it a pre-construction meeting, they're calling it a builder introduction meeting. So again, they can spin this and call this however they want, but it's ultimately the touch points through the process. So to Marcia's question, so pre-drywall, if you can be in town, it is always, again, encouraged that you can be here. If you live out of state, as some do, right, Marcia? Is it financially worth it for you to book a flight and to come out here for a walkthrough that's ultimately going to take, 30 minutes to an hour at most? And that's going to be for you to decide. Some people are like, absolutely, I am booking my flight and I'm going to be there in person. This is my house. It's my life savings. My family is going to be here. Yes, I want to be there. Is it imperative that you be there? If you're not able to be here in person, again, that's why you have hopefully a realtor that's assisting you through the process. So Marcia, I will tell you what I'm telling you as my client. If you come in town, then I'll meet you there. We'll do it together. And I will tell you what to expect, which is the builder is just going to walk you through the home at this stage. And it is an opportunity for you to see things like BoraCare, whether or not the BoraCare, which, and not all builders use the BoraCare, by the way, but the BoraCare, if you've ever seen, and I have a picture because I gave it to Alyssa recently. Oh, well, I'll find it and send it to you later, or I'll share it with you later. But that is when you might see like a green tent on the framing, on the wood framing of the home, up to about like 3 feet-ish. Maybe 4 feet-ish. And that is a spray termite treatment. Now, the wood has already been pre-treated before it goes up. Once it is actually up in your home, then they do an additional BoraCare treatment. That saturates itself into the wood, and that is a lifetime situation there. Some builders also do, or in lieu of, they do an exterior termite bait around the home. But anyway, so that's one thing that they reference. They also basically just walk you through the house. And it's like, okay, so here's the 4 recessed lights you wanted to add in. Those are the 4 recessed lights you wanted to add in this room. You can see the fixtures for those. I mean, the light isn't there, but you can see the little casing. They'll show you, here's the wiring. You can see here, this is your light switch. This is going to be a triple switch. One's going to be for the light. One's going to be for the fan. One's going to be for your half hot. They'll explain what a half hot is. If you don't know what a half hot is, let me tell you right now. So in many, many homes, you may have noticed that there is one outlet that is operated by a light switch, or you may have wondered why it doesn't always work. Well, it's because it's operated by a light switch. So if you do not have a center lighting fixture, and sometimes even if you do, they still provide you with a half hot. And that can be 2 things. Sometimes it's an outlet that's flipped upside down. And that is to signify to you that is the outlet that is operated by the light switch. So that, let's just say you have a bed, you have the headboard, you have a nightstand right beside it, you have a lamp on that nightstand, but no center lighting fixture. When you walk in your room, you flip that switch and your bedside lamp will turn on. So that's what a half hot is. So they'll reference those. Again, if you've got pre-plumb for a laundry sink, or if you did a pre-plumb in the garage, or if you did a designated outlet in the garage, or if you, added extra lights in the bathroom and the primary bathroom and shower area, it's to confirm that those are all there and in place, just like you expected, that you've done pre-wire for pendant lights. So it's really just that type of a confirmation meeting. It is not an opportunity to make changes. If you're like, oh, you know what? I really wish that outlet could be moved over about 10 feet. And you know what? Can we add one over there? No, that's not what this walkthrough is for. But it is an opportunity to go, oh my gosh, you know what? These outlets and this low voltage Cat 6, we had actually requested a special request that be up, 36 inches from the wall because of our office configuration. I don't know, I'm just making that up. If that is something that you requested and it should be noted in the plans, and it is not now wired that way correctly, that is what it's for. So that's where we can go through and go, you know what? We had this is going to be so-and-so's office. We have all of our low voltages here. We had a special requested 2 additional outlets up here. We paid for all that. It's all in our plans, but somehow it missed it with the electrician that was doing the electrical on your home. So that's what it's for, because it is so much easier to fix those mistakes or discrepancies before the drywall is up. So that is really what that walkthrough is for. The builder is going to walk you through room to room with his little, paperwork, or with his iPad where he's following the plans. It's going to be a room to room, just confirmation. It's quick because there's not a lot to see, right? It's open wood frame here and there. It's just, here's where your light switch is going to go. There's the 4 recess. There's your pre-plumb. So it's an important meeting. Do not get me wrong. It is a very important meeting, but it is not necessarily one that you have to be there for. If you cannot be there, it is important. What we do for our clients is, if you're like, oh my gosh, we can't be there for the pre-drywall walkthrough, then we go and get a slower, more cohesive video. Kennard, actually part of our Heart and Home Orlando group here, our family, it goes out all the time taking pictures and photos, same thing, and some videos of homes for our clients while they're under construction. But if we know specifically that you're not going to be here for a pre-drywall, then we will ask Kennard, or Eric will go, we will get you a more thorough video, like slow-mo, and we'll go wall to wall, room to room. And that way you can watch that video prior to the pre-drywall. I will go to the pre-drywall with the builder, and we will make sure that all of that communication is there. If you're like, hey, you know what? I didn't see those 4 recess in that family room. Can you double check, Amy? Then that's kind of how we make that work. So that was a really long answer, but hopefully that helped you, Marcia. And of course, you can call me. All right. So that's a good question, Julia. Do the HOA fees, or do the rental rates usually include the HOA fees? Yes, in most cases they do, because they're not gonna, in most cases, they're not going to add that in as a separate fee. For the rental that I just did for, again, the home that I helped them purchase, as soon as they purchased it, they wanted to rent it because it was an investment property. The rent does include the HOA fees, and it is a long-term rental. It is for a year. So in those cases, yeah, I very rarely do you ever see them have those fees that are are requested separately. And then let's go, Fanny Wilkes. I am so excited about, like, I saw your wish list again the other day. So exciting! I love hearing from you. Lake Apopka Sound, Emerald. Any updates? Unfortunately, not yet. Those Emerald homes are going to be quite pricey, but they're going to be lovely. So yeah, just not quite there yet. When they build these communities, they build them strategically and compartmentally, so to speak. But we just not yet, not getting there yet. But we should have something soon, because that community is just going like crazy. They have a lot of homes in there that are under construction now. So when we did our Sunday drive back there in the very beginning, it looks a lot different now. So we might add that to one of our communities to go back in and do a Sunday drive specifically and give you that information. So that's a good one. And then Marsha again, when and how is the appraisal done on new construction when prices drop? Like Waterbrook lowered base price significantly in last phase. Does this impact my contract when I sign? Prices were higher. So you should be good. In most cases, honestly, the new construction homes appraise. Is that a slam dunk given 100% of the time? No, it's not. I have had new construction homes not appraised. In most cases, the home has not appraised because, well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, potentially there was way too extreme a lot premium placed on that from the builder. And that has been one of the big ones, which I think the builders have now come to realize. So we're kind of past that time where they could get through that. So they're making the lot premiums a little bit more palatable. And then the other time was when a client just really over blinged out their home, right? Where they just put high end level everything, which by the way is why the builders require you to pay an additional deposit at the design center if you go above a certain threshold, because they want to make sure, excuse me, that we don't have that issue. But anyway, so yeah, Marsha, we're seeing a lot of prices, and I say prices dropping, but really what's happening is, again, some of these were kind of caught up in the when the inventory numbers changed, right? So we didn't have enough inventory. We still don't. It is still a seller's market. It's just not the cuckoo market that it was. So when we have more homes now than we did before, then it just means that they have to be a little bit more competitive again. Because if a buyer has one choice of a home, then the seller can put whatever price tag they want on it and they'll probably get it. If there's a buyer and that buyer can choose between 10 homes, well, now those 10 people have to be a little bit more competitive to get that one buyer that might be out there. And then when you talk about the appraisal being done, so that's going to be done toward the end, because obviously they can't do an appraisal now, the home isn't complete. But when the home is complete, the lender will schedule that with the builder. When you use, or if you use an outside lender, it is imperative that lender stay in constant communication with not only the homeowner, but from the builder as well. So that, because when the builder completes that home and you're using an outside lender, that builder is expecting you to close. And it is not acceptable for the outside lender to delay that closing just because they weren't kept in the loop of what was going on. So that is one of the things, and we'll talk about that. We'll make that one of our topics one day, about the pros and cons of a preferred lender versus an outside lender. But if it is, if you did use Mattamy Home Funding, then they coordinate all of that. They will be the ones that are, they'll get out there, they'll do the appraisal. And in most cases, in almost all of the cases, there's not been an appraisal issue with that. So hopefully we will be good there on that one. But that's a really good question. Rob, is there any way to protect yourself if by accident you run into a wackadoodle HOA? Rob, you're hysterical. Okay, so you know what? Fair question. There are some wackadoodle HOAs. There are some people who want to have way too much oversight into your business, and they overstep the bounds of their covenants, codes, and restrictions. They seem to insert themselves into your day-to-day life as opposed to just maintaining the integrity of the community as a whole. So yes, there are some wackadoodle HOAs. I will tell you, if you look into an HOA's Facebook page, oh, good Lord. If you do those types of things prior to determining what home or community you want to purchase in, you're probably always going to be scared, because just like we talk about people that have negative comments and negative things to say and create websites or create Facebook pages because of their horrific experience with a restaurant, with a builder, with a trade worker, with whomever, it's because they had a really bad experience. And so they're going to be the ones that yell and scream the most. The most people in a community, like, I see it, right? We see people on our Facebook, even our Facebook page, there's been some drama. We tend to just not be a part of it, because if you notice, if you really look hard, sometimes it's always the same people that are kind of, in that conversation. And I won't say that our HOA is a wackadoodle one. We have a very good HOA, but they're never void or exempt from any potential drama, because, it's what kind of governs our community and makes us, remain looking aesthetically appealing. We like that, we like that there's oversight into that. But as far as any way to protect yourself, if by accident, well, the reality is, you can't, if when you close on a home, there is a disclosure stating that you understand you are in a planned unit development and that there is going to be an HOA and that you are signing to abide by all of that, which is why you should be receiving your HOA information, covenants, codes, and restrictions, or have access to those prior to signing your document. So that's how you protect yourself, is by knowing what the HOA rules are prior to closing on the home and not after. So that's a really good question, Rob. So I would say just do your homework and do your due diligence ahead of time before you make that decision. Okay. All right, guys. So let me do this. Let me go back here. Okay. So let me take a quick 2-second break while I, oh, by the way, did I show you this? I got this for Christmas. My daughter gave it to me. It's Daryl from Walking Dead. I love him. He was my favorite character. Did you watch Walking Dead? Who was your favorite character? Anyway, okay. So while I take a sip of my coffee, I am going to show you our crazy, goofy, fun Zillow home of the day. Where is it? It is right here. Okay, so this home, actually Julia, our family member here on our coffee time that we have, she's my friend via text and through life anyway, but she actually, I think you said your husband sent this one. So they sent this one to us this week. So this is, and I don't know if I know all the info on this one. So obviously we see what's in front of us. It's just at around 900,000, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, a little over 3,000 square feet. This is in Orlando, which is why we put the courtesy listing there. But this is, it's got a name of a castle, right, Eric? They named it. Yes, the owners named it. And that's why as these pictures scroll, you can see the interior doesn't actually give me much of an impression other than it's in line with kind of the vibe they're going for. But I love that, like, the exterior is very castle-ish, right? So this is quite a lovely home. So if nothing else, this isn't necessarily, there it is. So there's your exterior picture. So they've definitely kind of made it look a little castle-esque. And then, I kind of love it. It looks, being here in Disney's backyard, it kind of looks like a little, like a little cottage or something. I don't know. It looks a little magical, a little Disney-ish. So anyway, so thank you for sharing that one with us. If you ever find one, by the way, yourselves, you can always send it to us. That just happened to be a fun one that she sent to us. So we figured we would share that one today. All right. And then the other thing, while you guys think up your last few questions, we'll go to what I am watching. Not that you really care, but it's fun for me. So this is what I'm watching. Okay, so I think I mentioned this last week that I had just started watching Madam Secretary. Now, I know this was a series that was probably on years ago, and that's fine. I am always late to the party. Actually, I don't go to the party most often, but if I'm going to go, I'm surely going to be late. Anyway, so I didn't watch when this was a series on TV, but I am watching it on Netflix now, and I am in. It is so good. I really enjoyed, I know when Eric and I guess were first married, whenever West Wing was on, we used to watch that all the time. And this feels very similar kind of in the pace and the banter of that. And it's really, really good. Obviously, is it Tia Leone? It is Tia. I just want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. She's beautiful. She's amazing. I'm like, oh, should I get my hair cut short like that? So here's my poll for today. Should I get my hair cut short? I mean, I know I don't look like her. I mean, God, I wish I did. But should I cut my hair short like that? You let me know. But no, it's a really good show. And here's the thing. So, all right. So as I'm watching this, President Dalton, who is the president in this series, President Dalton, there's been something in the back of my mind. I'm like, why do I know him? Like, I know him. Like, that voice is, like, I know him. Like, I'm imagining him, like, talking and, like, singing. Like, what is it? And then I realized it's Keith Carradine. And my favorite all-time Broadway musical, all-time favorite. I mean, there's a lot of one. I mean, Hamilton is way up there, trust me. But my favorite all-time, I would watch it over and over and over and over again, is a musical called Will Rogers Follies. And Keith Carradine was in Will Rogers Follies. And that's why. So I stopped it last night when I was watching. I was like, I've got to figure this out. So I was like, whatever, like, who's the cast? Keith Carradine. I was like, was he in Will Rogers Follies? Because that's what I'm thinking. And yes, I'm happy to say that I did find a little YouTube clip of him. I think it was probably the Macy's Day Parade or whatever. But anyway, so that's it. I know you don't care. But if you do like Broadway musicals, you should try to dig up some version of Will Rogers Follies, because it is seriously one of my all-time favorites. I have done and choreographed numbers from that musical many, many times back in the day when I had my studio. But anyway, back to Madam Secretary. Great series. So that's what I'm watching now. I will say it's got several seasons. I'm just starting season 2. So this is probably going to be what I'm watching for a while, but always send me options if there's something out there that you think I should watch. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions that popped up. I am so excited. Yes, we have a little congratulations thing, because that reminds me that. Okay, so no more questions. Okay, so for our congratulations, this is kind of where we're going to go with this. Okay, so I'm super excited. So Amy and Mike are here in town. I'm not giving you their last names. Amy and Mike are in town from Pennsylvania. They are actually here today. We have a busy week scheduled with them, hopefully finding them their perfect new home. And you know what? Again, this is another example, just like Jim and Cheryl, which we referenced you a little while ago. It is so fun. So like in Amy and Mike's case, it has been, when they first reached out, we had our long phone conversation, kind of keeping tabs on where everybody was in the process and when it was going to be the right time. And now it's the right time, right? So now we are closer to going, okay, it's time to move forward. So they're in town. We're going to have a lot of fun today, this week, actually, today and this week. Looking at some new construction options, some resale options, trying to find them their perfect home. And then, but what's fun is that, never met them in person. So it's fun to finally, after all of this, relationship building that we've had over the past, months and months and months, to see them. And then Jim and Cheryl, same thing. You guys are obviously, you've already contracted, and you've been waiting a long time. You've been very, very, very patient, my friends. So lots of fun stuff coming up. So we're excited about all of that, and just kind of as a general note before we kind of, ouch, my knee just popped out. Before we end our coffee time for today, just a couple of things about how that process works. Because I do have people that will text me after this and they're like, how do we contact you to, how do we become one of your clients? Well, it's very, very, very easy. I mean, it's not difficult at all. You call or you text me. Here, I'll put the thing up. Eric will be proud of me. You call me or text me. I will tell you, I love to talk on the phone. Any of you that have talked to me, you know that I love to talk on the phone. I love to talk when you're here in person. I love to talk on coffee time. But it is usually easier if you text first, and then I can send you kind of a link for the next step. And that actually is really, really important. And almost, it's not a prerequisite, but it's really, it's helpful. It's helpful information in kind of preparation. That's the word I'm looking for. Pull it from the sky. Preparation for the phone call, because then it's not just random haphazard stuff. I already know a few things about what you're looking for. And it also helps me be a little bit more effective in that conversation of pre-focusing in on some viable options. For example, if I don't know what size home you're looking for or what your price point is or what your timeline is, then I just talk about a lot of randoms and then I may get all excited about a specific thing and then we find out, oh, well, your budget is this, or your budget is increased to this, or no, you couldn't be in that area. You need to be close to work. So that's why filling out the little questionnaire is preferable in preparation for a phone call. It makes it a lot easier for me to kind of target our conversation about what information is going to be really best for you. And then hopefully our goal is by the end of that conversation that we have a game plan, that we know what our next steps are going to be. We know what your timeline is. That means what's my timeline, things that we need to do to get you prepped and ready when the time is ready. If you're not ready, or if it is time for you to get ready, what you might need to do. Or if we need to just jump on in because you're pre-approved and you're like, yep, I got to move in a month. Then, these are all things we need to know. So that is super helpful as well. All right. And then one other thing, because this was and I'll do this quick topic here. So somebody also had asked about earnest money deposits, and we did, I always say we reference it, but I realize that those of you that are here listening and watching right now, there's no way anybody has watched all of the videos and all of the Sunday drives and all of the coffee times. So while I may feel like I repeat myself, I know that for some of you, you may have heard me say it before as well, but some of you, it may be the first time. So I'm going to talk very, very quickly about earnest money deposits. So an earnest money deposit is an amount that you're going to pay at the time of contract. Now, resale and new construction earnest money deposits can be worked different ways. So it's important to kind of reference, so many places don't even have any new construction options around. So half of what we talk about is irrelevant to them. But let's just do resale first. If it's a resale home, your earnest money deposit, typically what is acceptable is about 1% to 2% of that purchase price or your offer amount. So if your home's worth $500,000, you're going to probably put in a 1% or a 2% earnest money deposit. That money is protected during your inspection period time, which is basically the buyer's time to be protected within those contract terms and have an inspection done. So if the inspection comes back and gives you any cause or concern to cancel that contract, then you can do so and your earnest money is not in jeopardy. That inspection period, the default is like 14 days, but I will say that most realtors usually put 7 to 10 days. When the market was cuckoo crazy, we would do a 5-day inspection period because we wanted to make the offers more appealing because they were reviewing multiple offers. And so you're trying to be as low maintenance as possible as a buyer. But generally speaking, a 7 to 10 day inspection period is fine. It's adequate. Earnest money deposit is protected during that time period. Now, new construction is completely different. It is most often non-refundable. It will tell you so in the contract. A new construction purchase agreement is worded very heavily in favor of the builder. It just is. There's nothing you can do about it. In the state of Florida, our contracts are standard. So you cannot, for people that live in different states and they're used to having a contract, taking it to their lawyer and reviewing it and then crossing off this and striking that and adding this. That's not the way it works here. Because our contracts are standard, they are all approved and they are all going to be worded, essentially that same way. And that means then that new construction is going to be worded heavily in favor of the builder. But I signed that contract. All my clients have signed that same contract. And, it works out. That's just the way that goes. But your earnest money deposit for a new construction opportunity is going to be significantly higher. If you can get a 5% earnest money deposit from a builder, that's fantastic. A lot of builders have gone up to that 10% mark. A lot of people ask about VA loans. Well, what if I'm a VA loan? I'm not supposed to have an earnest money deposit. I'm not supposed to put the deposit down. Well, for new construction, you still do because you just have to, but they will significantly reduce it. So, and again, these are questions to have your, realtor assist you with because these are things that not a lot of realtors even know. You might say you're a VA buyer and you're doing new construction and your realtor might say, oh yeah, well, you don't have to do a deposit. Well, that's not necessarily true. So anyway, so that is a quick overview on earnest money deposits. Resale, whatever that amount is that you offer. By the way, you can always make your offer more appealing and put a much higher earnest money deposit down. I've had clients do that to make their offer more appealing. You can do that. But the average, what's acceptable is 1% to 2%. And that is protected during your inspection period.
New construction, not really refundable. There's very, very, very specific ways that it could be refunded, but you notice I said could, not would. So it could be refunded, but very specific situations. But you need to enter into a new construction contract with the mindset and the intention of moving forward with that, or you could lose it if you decide to just change your mind. And I have had clients do that before. I'm actually getting ready to list a home. By the way, I'll tell you all about it on our next coffee time. A beautiful home, a townhome out in a place called Festival, which is an Ashton Woods community, literally brand new, just closed on it a couple of days ago. But in lieu of canceling the contract because they've changed their mind, because, life situations, right? In lieu of losing their $70-some thousand earnest money deposit, they are actually going to close on it, and I'm going to list it and sell it for them because it's financially more in their advantage to sell it than it is to back out of the contract. And that is an example of the builder not refunding that earnest money deposit because there was really no reason to, other than the buyer changed their mind. So anyway, with that, I know you are probably bored of me. So if I did not say good morning, let me see where I left off. DVC Live. Oh, yeah. So Jackie and Chad. Hey, Jackie and Chad. Susie Q and Marsha, we talked a little while ago. Dawn. Look, oh yeah. So Dawn, I guess she was at the marathon. It was kind of chaos. Watch my friend Sharon G. That's always chat run, all of that. Yep. I'm just not a runner, but I will tell you, I can see where it would be chaos if you're in with the main, like, core group, like the massive kind of herd that's kind of coming through. That wasn't a really attractive way to say that, but I meant it in a positive way. That massive, like, group of people that's going where it's just so condensed. That's probably not as fun. Again, when we watched Forrest, it was a little bit different because he was a little bit more forward in the race when it started. So he was thinned out and a little bit more up front. So it was kind of nice to be able to see him. I'll tell you, Eric and I haven't been able to watch him run since he was in college, and that's been years and years ago. So it really did our heart good to be able to go out there and be a crazy mama out there just screaming. In fact, the video I have, I'm like so embarrassed because I'm just screaming, go like the mommy does on the sideline. Anyway, so all right, guys. Well, I am going to probably say goodbye to you today. I'm just double checking, making sure I didn't miss anything. Eric, did I miss anything? Good morning, Furman. Hey. And Quentin. Good morning, Quentin. Gary Wandry, are you back? Are you back from was it Hawaii? Yep. And Kim, Susie Q. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I love you. All right. Anything else, Eric? Nope, I think we're good. All right, guys. So I hope you have an amazing week. We have lots going on this week. Of course, I'll share all that with you later. But just remember, as always, it's important to have a realtor assist you through the process, whether you're buying or whether you're selling. And it's really important to make sure that whomever it is that you choose is someone that you feel a connection with. I hope that person is me, but I know that some of you are watching this and you live in other states or in other countries and you're getting this for informational purposes. So if you can't use me to help you, I'm sorry. But if you're in another state or whatever the case is, just make sure that you find someone where you do feel that sense of connection and you do feel like they know what they're doing and that they're going to take care of you. And I hope you can find that person. And obviously, if you're doing anything in the state of Florida, whether you're looking to buy or you're looking to sell or you're looking to do both in Florida, then I hope you will, again, reach out to me. And as always, you know how to get in touch with me, which is to call or text 407-848-8042. And then, of course, as always, you guys know, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you guys, and happy house hunting. Bye. Have a great week.